Hey, it's Barb again. Oh, if you're thinking where I have a milk jug, that's my grinder. I am a registered nurse, retired, still licensed, but I do art, and I've been working on this. And this is my glass station, but best place I have liked. I was going to show some of my artifacts, relics, but I've been wanting to do this for hours, and my dogs have been going crazy. My puppy is about 9 months, 10 months old. And so while I only got the book in September, I read the 4 chapters on the treasure boxes first. And then I read the rest of the book, and then I reread the treasure box chapters again and again and again and again. So I have lots of notes. They used to be on paper. And it got to the point I had so many. And yeah, I mean, I'm 60 plus, but I can do Excel and all that. But I'm more a visual learner. And so I put it all on poster boards. They were like 25 cents at dollar store. And so here are all my Forrest Fenn notes. I haven't read them since I made the notes, my past and future box notes, so we can 86 those because I'm not working on them. I'll go back to them eventually. And then over here we have my lion's share notes, and I probably could add a bunch more in the Pokemon box notes. So we can 86 those too, because we're not going to talk about those. So now this leads us to, and I have Appalachian Trail, but it's really the footpath, which to me, if it was right on the Appalachian Trail or right off, like close, he would have named it the Appalachian Trail box and not the footpath, because the Appalachian Mountains go pretty good. So I'm going to talk about some things I didn't mention, because in my last video, it was actually made to share with 2 people I'd been working with for a couple, maybe a month. And so I was trying to do it really quick. And so I'll make this probably about the same length, but I want to go over some things I didn't. Because I was just trying to give him some hints on who I was and what I did. I think, yeah, it's Car North, but it's feet. Yeah, that could be the Tar Heels. But I actually have a link to something else, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video. But I really think I have something there. It's going to be probably in the next video, just because, to keep you interested. So it could mean a bunch of things. I think there's a second skier here, the big skier, the little skier. And I was talking to somebody about that tonight, and they were like, do you know about the place in Maggie Valley, which is kind of close to the Appalachian Trail? It's a probably medium-sized skiing area compared to the Boone area further north. And I said, yeah. And I said, actually, there's 3 places to ski in North Carolina. And, let's flip. So, looking at western North Carolina, you have Boone up about here. You have Maggie Valley about here. And then down maybe here, you have Scaly Mountain, which makes a nice triangle of ski areas in western North Carolina. Of course, there are no ski areas in the other areas of North Carolina. So that could be significant that we have a big skier and a little skier. Maybe you don't think that's a little skier. skier, but I do. And then is it the bobcat? I looked at a bunch of things about that, and I'm going to try to cover the things I didn't in the last video. So let's look at the butterfly. We have the Cherokee butterfly dance, we have Water Rock Knob, Pounding Mill Overlook, Craggy Gardens, Mount Mitchell. I don't even know my abbreviations, BL Mountain. JW Garden in Lake Junaluska. And of course, there's the Arboretum. And so I'm just looking at places in western North Carolina that can connect to, butterfly migration. And then, of course, we're going to get more. I didn't discuss this in the last one about the Monarch Migration Station, which is at Cherry Gap, mile marker 416. And so there are a lot of places on the Blue Ridge that are specifically linked to butterfly migration. The Olympic torch. I think it's an Olympic torch. I also looked at the blue ghost fireflies. And the reason I looked at it being an Olympic torch was because the bronze medalist, I think she does kayaking and canoeing, is from Bryson City, and she trains out at NOC in Lake Fontana and out there, which is close to the AT. But now I'm thinking it relates to a different torch, which is connected to the feet. So some of you smart people may be able to connect that. I always thought this was Lake Fontana, but I don't think it is. This, I know my drawing is not like, see if I can get it. No, probably not going to be able to. Yeah, that thing. A lot of conflict on that. I'm thinking it's the shape of a trail. And I really think it's near a Bald Mountain. The only problem is there's so many in North Carolina. And we're going to get more into that. The feather, is it a blue blaze feather? Is it the one feather? Is it a quill? I think a lot of these things have more than one meaning. I really do. I think that's how you get to a bigger area to a smaller area. The apples. Is it apples? Is it cherries? Is it Barbara Orchard? Is it KT's Orchard? Or is it one of, over here we have Orchards Overlook, Cranberry Ridge Overlook, and somewhere up here we have Cherry Gap Overlook, which happens to be the Monarch Migration Station. So I've looked at all kinds of stuff. I mean, I have notes. Judicolor Rock. Another friend of mine said, look at Mothertown. I don't know. And then I've looked at a lot of elevations. Oh, stop. Sorry, my puppies. And now I got to figure out where I am. I'm still not determined. I don't think that's Chimney Rock. I think it's stairs. And one of the places I'm very concerned in right now, it's funny, the stairs to get to there are 17. It was funny that they actually put that in the description. So these were all my possibilities months ago. And of course I put feet, centimeters, and I know some people say centimeters. I'm sorry, I say centimeters. My students always laughed at that. And so these are just some things I thought about. This is actually the compass rose from the page, I think, with the ship, with all the weird numbers. Haven't really dug into it, not even sure about it. This, I think, is a scroll, and I have a couple meanings for that, which is, again, click to this and to this that we'll discuss in the next video. And so let's go back to this. So In my last video, somebody commented Standing Rock Overlook. They were like, maybe that's, the rock in the map. Sorry, the light. That thing. And so, okay, kids, stop. So, in all of my research, I've only done one boots on the ground. It wasn't really a boots on the ground. But I've been using, and I'm going to kill my dogs, okay? I've been using multiple maps. So this one is the Mountain to Sea Trail map. And we're going to really dig into this one. This is Standing Rock Overlook. And that kind of looks like our rock, but I have found so many rocks that look like that rock structure on the map. And I've also been using the Blue Ridge Parkway map. Nope, I can get rid of that page. This one is the National Park Service map. And I can get rid of that page. And this one is the Appalachian Trail map. And so when you're doing research, you're going to notice every one of these maps is set up totally different. Totally different. This is your National Park Service. This is your other National Park Service, but this is for the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now, why doesn't this one look anything like this one? It's like, I guess they've never updated their crap. And then this is the Blue Ridge Parkway, and then this is the Mountain to Sea Trail. So I think I've learned a lot by interacting every single one of these maps, because you will see totally different things on every single map. And so let's go back to the AT. So the only places I ever really considered in North Carolina were and you can hear my dogs, and I am so sorry. I went too far. And some of these maps you can zoom in and out, and other ones you can't. You have to actually hit the little click button, which is totally ridiculous. Okay, there's 441, which goes from Cherokee to Gatlinburg. And, okay, here's I-40. So the only places I really considered was the I-40 here. Let's pull it up. It does have a kind of similar. I considered it because on each side of the Pigeon River, there are elevations of 1727. And there's parking, I want to say, right in here. And so I don't know how well this is going to show up. It always gives funky lines. But is that too easy? The only reason I really considered it is when you leave that, you actually hit Standing Bear Farm. And so I was like, is that a clue? I watched Jimmy Joyce, Wonder Bro. I've watched a lot of his videos. I need to finish watching it. And when you hit I-40, if you don't stock up at Standing Bear Farm, you're basically screwed, because the next place is Hot Springs. And so this was the next place I considered. Whoop, too big. Let me get there we go. Was Max Patch. And basically, the only reason I considered it was because of Standing Bear Farm and Max Patch. The AT portion of the trail looks like a bear. Kind of. So the only other place I considered, and I've gone back and forth between the Mountain to Sea Trail and the AT Trail, just because I was hitting dead ends on the Mountain to Sea Trail, and so I'd go back and I would follow this map, look at every freaking road. Let me pull up. AT parking and okay, the mile points. And so the only other place I would even consider, I did consider Wyabald. I hear it's been pretty well decimated. Um, okay, let's zoom in. And if you take 1727 from the total miles, it brings you to 463 mile marker. And I think I covered this in the last video. This is Daniel Boone Trail. And so you would just have, a 3 mile hike. And I didn't have anything to substantiate that. I tried looking at everything around this area, and the only thing I could come up with was the Daniel Boone Trail. So I basically 86 that. Okay, so we can probably get rid of that map. And now let's go back over here. And Lily, if you don't get on my way, I'm going to beat you. Well, I don't beat my dogs, but she understands me. Okay, so I went over the possibilities. I have mile markers, all kinds of stuff. So what I didn't show you in the last one is my other map. And I want to go back to this. Oh, and what did I do with that piece of paper? Where's my book? It's going to be in my book. My book that's falling apart like everybody else's book. Okay. And so I did the feet conversions. I looked at all the lookout towers. Because look around. So where are they? Looked at all of them on the AT. This is every single one in every state. I looked at the Cherokees and the clans, what was important to them, our cougar, and I found some other things I didn't write on here and I should have. There's actually places on the Mountain to Sea Trail that are important. I even found one reference to a cave off of one of the balds. I really think there's a strong Cherokee presence or relevance to this. I looked at every place you could kayak and canoe, major things. Oh. I looked at the parts that were demolished or they moved. What else did I look at? Just things that may make sense, may not. Pyramid structures on the parkway. Grandfather Mountain came up a lot. Things that were important to the indigenous people: pine, spruce, cedar, laurel, holly. Looked at the blue ghost fireflies, and we won't get into that because that's coming up. And the book, and so do I have anything on the back side of this? Oh, yeah. This is my 1 year wrap up from one of the radio shows. And so we all know JCB spent time on the AT, grew up in NC, full circle. I'm really thinking full circle, and it'll be in my next video, and I know you're probably tired of hearing that, but it's all relevant to those other things. Does full circle mean coming back to one? If you look at the Mountain to Sea Trail, every section, there is no zero. I think the first section is, well, of course you start at 0, and it goes to, I don't know, maybe 16. I know the second one goes to 63. And so you go from 63 to 1. And so is it at one of those ones? Full circle, back to number 1, back to the beginning. Even though it's the same trail, you're back to number 1. Looked at the box. Was that anything important? Of course, the Rainbow Trail, Blue Steel Blue. A lot of this just has to do with the colors, the treasure box, the skiers, and not really a whole bunch of crap here. So we're going to come over to this. But first, I want to go back to my computer. Because a lot of things led me to my area. This is one of them. Judicolor Rock. Got a lot of fancy things. It's like a map. And I actually went up there and spent a lot of time, and then it got raining really, really bad. And on one of the signs, and I didn't take a picture of it, there's actually a canoe that looks like the canoe on the canoe, like the canoe in the book. And so I just don't know. And so we'll get back to that next. No, maybe we'll do it now. Let me grab some stuff. So, oh, it's in my papers. So I took you on the ride and told you about not this one. And I've thought more about it. Somebody brought up that Standing Rock Overlook, which we looked at. But what was the... heron. I think that's really funny because things are red herons. And here we have heron knob. Yes, it doesn't have the G, but it's got knob. And I think that's important. And when we get up to this area, which I think is a major portion of solving this, which hopefully it's in these papers over here. But let's go back to here. Okay. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Jesus. I need to put this on the back of one of my things. So, and looking at all that, and it's a lot. I know it's a lot. Puppy, I came down to this. So we have the AT on the left. We've got, come on, focus. The Orchards Overlook. Standing Rock. Laurel Patch. Bald. And then we get to Devil's Courthouse. And I think Devil's Courthouse is where there is a cave. But I'm not positive. And then here's the Heron Knob pullout. Then we have the Highway 215, the 1727 Crusoe Road. And this line here is the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is Boulder Falls, and this is called the Pisgah Triangle. So at one point, probably, maybe the beginning of October, it's so hard to chronologically describe all this because I can't remember when I researched it. And so I thought, okay, I've got the Green Mountain Trail. I've got Crusoe Road. I've got the graveyard fields, with people think graveyard fields where I put the box in its final resting place. So I Googled, are there any triangles off of the Blue Ridge Parkway in Western North Carolina? It's very important when you do your searches to put Western North Carolina. And it said, yeah, the Pisgah Triangle, which is made up of 215 Blue Ridge Parkway and 1727. Okay, on my map, on my drawing, it's a triangle, but that is what is considered the Pisgah Triangle. Now, does it look like the map? But no, but to me, this looks more like the map, especially when it's folded. So, I think these are clues. I really think it's here somewhere. It's getting that aha moment. We have Looking Glass Falls. I gotta sit up. And the other thing interesting is right here at the bottom is what's called the Monarch Migration Station, which is also Cherry Gap Overlook. Do you know that 95% of the Bald Mountains are in North Carolina? Rainbow Falls is down here. We have Little Balsam, Buck Spring Lodge, Laurel Mountain Trail. All these things just seem to relate to me. And I'm looking at Pisgah, Little Pisgah, and of course down here is WCU Catamounts. Oh God, I can't think now. We call it Bumpy Butt, Rough Butt. Judicola Rock, which I just showed you, is down here also. So a bunch of things, and the Shadow of the Bears probably over here. So a lot of the things that I think relate to North Carolina are all south of the graveyard fields. So it's like, is it here? Is it here? I don't know. So we can get rid of that map. And we can get rid of that. And then we get to the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's just one thing you need to know. The numbers on the Blue Ridge Parkway go one way, and the numbers for the Mountain to Sea Trail go the other way. And so I want to zoom in because looking at numbers, just numbers, there's one area I am going to check that I will tell you because I don't think it's there. If it is, and you find it, well, I'll just shoot myself, okay? And it's in here, and I think it's about, where's my, I want to say it's about where my hand is, but I can't be sure. It has to do with the dashes. If the dashes are so many miles, which I wrote down somewhere, and took it from the AT, it would put you right in here. And that's the crappy map. Let's see if this map shows it. There's 1923. Oh, that's SoCo Road. Here's the Great Smoky Parkway. And, well, this ain't the map I used either, but it must be on this one, and I must not have zoomed in enough. The reason I was considering something in this area is because the road, and God, it kills me. What map was I looking at? The road, okay, here's the Mountain to Sea Trail. This road right here is 1777. And so I will check out this area. Not sure if it's there. The ranger station is right here, but then again, why not put it right next to the ranger station? Who knows? Okay, so we're going to go back over here. Not to this map. Not to that. But to this. So I did a different map of NC. Here's my Tar Heels. Okay, come on. Here's my wire bald. Come on. There we go. I've got Bald Mountains. And here I looked at, is the butterfly related to the North Carolina Arboretum, Lake Junaluska? The swallowtail is the North Carolina state butterfly. We have the catamounts. We have skiing. There's my skiing triangle. And the Pisgah Triangle is almost in the center of that triangle. This is the Boone area, which does have the only Diamondback Trail in NC and does do ski boarding or snowboarding. This is Cataloochee, and this is Scaly Mountain. And actually, these two should be reversed. Scaly should be this way, and Barbary should be that way. And then, is this a mill, an overlook? I'm really thinking it's a scroll because on over here, to me, down in that corner, that is a scroll. And that is a scroll. Just like there's a skier and there's a skier. To me, there's two skiers. This skier, and if you zoom this in, it's another skier. There's little things and big things. Just like, where's the apples? There's the apples, and there's the little... can't do it. There's the little basket of apples. There is a big and a little icon for most of the icons. So that tells me the big ones are related to one solve and the little ones to another solve. The whole reason I got to the Blue Ridge Parkway was overlook. Look around. The look is in little, the around is in big. On the Blue Ridge Parkway, if it says overlook, look, it's in capital block letters. But if look at any map, it doesn't matter which map. All 5 maps I'm using, 4 or 5. Overlook, the only thing capitalized is the O. The look is in little, and that's why I'm sticking to it. Highest point east of the Mississippi is Mount Mitchell. And there's a lot of places, if we go to, I personally think, we're looking for 5,666 feet. And there's a lot of them on the Blue Ridge Parkway. But Mount Mitchell is the highest point east of the Mississippi. And so guess what? I think it has to be in North Carolina, because where is the highest point east of the Mississippi? And then we look at the shadow of the bear. I looked at North Carolina, and I researched North Carolina every which way you can. So I looked at Springer Spaniels. Where's the best place to buy one? Well, guess what? North Carolina is in the top 5 states to buy one. I also looked at states with... Come on. Oh, Jesus. With bald mountains. And the states, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Georgia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. I also looked at the 10 top production apple states. New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina. I also looked at the federally recognized United States indigenous tribes, Connecticut, Maine, Mass, come on, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Tennessee, and Virginia. And I really think that Clingman's Dome plays a part in this, and the Mountain to Sea Trail starts there. And so, we don't know. This 80 million things this could be. But I have more, but this is what I'm going to leave you with. But I think if you look at, even if these are just crazy things, what I was doing was trying to rule out states by looking up things that I thought were relevant, like apple production, states with bald mountains. And if you look at them, North Carolina is in every single one of them. Virginia's in every single one of them. And that's it. So, makes me want to stick with North Carolina. Have a good night, and we'll throw you another bone in a couple of days or maybe next week.